Of investigation. They turned to the paranormal, enlisting the aid of psychics and clairvoyants in their desperate search. Now, tragically, Paula's body was found earlier this week south of Sydney, in fact only metres from where her boyfriend had been searching, on the advice of a clairvoyant. Joining me, three psychics who were involved in the search for Paula Brown: Simon Turnbull, Leonora Jackson and Winifred Krause. Please thank our guests. If I may ask each of you how you got involved with the Paula Brown case and what your thoughts were. Simon?
Okay, we get a lot of people who ring the psychic hotline to try to find missing people or pets or jewellery and so forth, and the client recommended to Mrs. Brown to come and see me because I'd been accurate with her in the past.
Mm-hmm. And what did you tell her?
Well, we tried to find out where the body might be. And she came to see me on the Tuesday, which was before the publicity broke. So there was no information that I knew of prior to her coming. And I picked up an area near water, near sand, and that was the main information that I was able to give. And subsequently, she was found 15 metres from the water.
Mm-hmm. Leonora, how did you get involved and what did you have to contribute?
Well, I was called by a friend of Paula's boyfriend, and I told him that I felt that she would be found in bushland, not buried but under leaves. I thought she was actually down in Malabar, but she was across the bay there. I said I felt she'd got into a four-door sedan car of her own choosing, as if she knew one of the people in the car, that there were two people in the car. I said that unfortunately they probably wouldn't see her again, that she was dead. I saw that she'd been hit in the head, and that she told me that when she got hit in the head, that was when the door closed and everything went dark. But the funny thing was, I actually couldn't pinpoint the exact area. I told them just about everything else. And I also really, Kerri-Anne, I got a feeling about the kind of person that actually did it to her, which was interesting. Yeah.
Winifred, your contribution?
Well, Norma Brown rang me on Saturday morning very early. I was half asleep, and I hadn't heard anything about the case because I've been busy packing and hadn't listened to anything. And she said about the girl missing, and I immediately knew it was bad. I saw blackness, and she asked me, did I feel whether she was living or dead, and I said, it isn't good news. I don't feel it's good news. I only see blackness. And I saw two men associated with it. I saw a tall, fair man, and I saw a man of Maori appearance. He may not have been Maori, but a swarthy appearance. And on the Sunday, and I did say to her that she would find out very quickly, that she wouldn't have to wait very long for an answer. And on the Sunday, my husband and I were driving, and we're coming along the bay, on the opposite side of Botany Bay, and I was reading the car, and I was sitting reading my book, and all of a sudden I had a vision, which was very distressing. I saw the girl crawling along the ground in the bush, and then I saw blackness. And that was on the Sunday.
Mm. The information that you gave to the relatives, was that passed along to the police?
I have no idea. I heard no more from them.
I think that initially because they just wanted to explore the options themselves, and that's usually when we're brought in anyway. Mm. We're not sort of consulted officially by the police it's not the first thing they think of. It's usually...
Well, how do police react to explanations? Simon, have you had any other cases that you've dealt with the police?
Yeah. I can't talk about the full details of it, but I've been asked on a particular case involving drugs that the policeman wanted to, well, the detective wanted to know certain factors, and I had to provide that. Mm.
So a detective off his own bat came to you, gave you information and asked for your thoughts on it?
Yeah. So it can, they do think of it, but officially, I mean, what we'd like to form a Psi Squad. Actually, a lot of credit should be given also to a psychic called Philippe Durand, who used dowsing, the pendulum, on a map, and was within 2 kilometers of the spot. And that just shows how a psychic can be used. And so we're thinking of forming a Psi Squad where we can make ourselves available to the community, but also to police. so they can, you know, just have a look at the options. I mean, we can't solve cases in their entirety, but we can be a backup to that kind of thing.
Leonora, have you had anything else to do with the police in terms of case solving?
Yes, I have, and for reasons of privacy. I mean, in this case, we've been more or less given permission by the relatives of Paula to speak out publicly. But I've been asked about missing persons cases and another murder in the past.
Have you had success?
I've had mainly successful. Sometimes it's a bit dark.
Is it in terms of the police? How do the police react?
Well, 20 years ago they were very sceptical and very hard to deal with, but lately they seem to be a lot more open. They actually seem to be more human, if that's a fair comment to make. But they're more open and they're a lot more sensitive.
Winifred, what's your experience in terms of credibility?
I just want to say about that police are well known for their own hunches, which are simply intuitive thoughts, really. I was asked about the Granny murders, and I could see a fair man, a local, and I said that he would be caught very quickly at that stage. He would attempt another murder, but he wouldn't be successful. Well, I believe the police were outside when she was murdered. And I had a psychologist about the backpacker murders, and I described the man in that.
If I may suggest, you all mentioned that in terms of the Paula Brown case, you saw wasn't good news, it was blackness, and out near the sea or sand.
A lot of
but, yeah, but if I could just suggest that Sydney, she was taken in the middle of the night from an area. It was suspicious circumstances at that time of the morning. She had disappeared. So if you were going to take anybody anywhere, it's got to be near the sea or in bushland.
Well, I mean, we did a grid map thing, and as Philippe Drouin did with his map, I mean, he actually narrowed down the area near the water. I mean, within 2 kilometres, you can't say that's an accident. One can certainly say that, that there could be guesswork involved, and psychics can't be 100% accurate.
So how do you do this? What is the process? Winifred, you touched on it there, hunches, intuition. What is the process that you go through, and how could people who don't consider themselves clairvoyant or psychic tap into this?
Well, I do classes on that, where they learn to look within themselves and to accept what is given within themselves. But with anything like this, it's usually a quick phone call, and I just let whatever comes first come, because if there's no critical mind getting in the way, it just comes out, whatever it is.
Leonora, what's your process?
Oh, very similar to Winifred's. In reference to your last question, though, both Winifred and I, at completely separate areas, seen a dark-haired man, a dark-skinned man. I thought he was either half Australian Aboriginal or Sri Lankan and white, Caucasian. And I did not know until this minute that Winifred had also seen someone who she described as a Maori appearance.
And that's another thing. The white man, the fair man had something I'd forgotten. I saw him with a blue denim jacket.
And I saw him in blue overalls, a fair-haired man with thinning hair.
See, I didn't know.
And neither of us.
Of course, at this stage, the case has not been resolved.
And also, I should also add that people can tune into their intuition themselves.
Any one of us?
Any one of us.
Anybody here in the audience ever had an intuitive experience, whether you want to call it psychic or... Hands up.
All of you. Everybody.
Do you consider yourself psychic or clairvoyant? But you have had an intuitive experience.
You all have children and
Every
parents.
mother knows.
Every mother.
Actually,
tuning into the
in
children.
In the new issue of Expose magazine, which is coming out at the end of this month, we ask people and show people how they can develop their psychic ability by trusting their gut feelings, their senses, other than what they see, hear, taste, touch, and smell, which is only limited. We can only do that within a very small area. But if we look at our feelings, and that's where this is a simple rule. A thought that springs from a feeling comes from your intuition. A feeling that springs from a thought is your imagination. Okay. So the fears reside in the imagination and the feeling.
Dreaming too is a very good way of learning to listen to your intuition, because our dreams are pure clairvoyance. I mean, they are distorted in some cases, but once you learn to listen to them, then you get a lot of answers.
I want to thank the three of you for coming along and chatting and and hope we've got some extra added information in this particular case. If you two ladies continue that conversation and pass it along. One and all, Simon Turnbull, Leonora Jackson and Winifred Krause. Please thank our guests.